Hello everyone, it's Gunther. I know games, and I'm playing games. And today we're playing Mothman 1966. I found this game like looking on Twitter, and I saw like random posts. I saw one for a game from the same studio. 6 of cards face up on the counter, 2 are red and 4 are black. So 5 in all, and 9 black. You have no more moves. So you have to bet now. What? I'm so confused. I don't think I was... Black card? A large majority of the face cards are black, and you know that betting against a streak is usually dangerous. Even though you've already chosen, you decide to stay away from the counter. You can't bear losing again. You think of your grandma, Elsie, trying to win at solitaire for over 60 years. Take a deep breath and keep sleeping. Elsie's been paralyzed from the waist down since she was 21. Your mom was only 2 months old. The winter Elsie taught you to play solitaire, your parents and sister had been dead for almost a year, and you'd already begun to forget their faces. Although you cook for her, do her laundry, bathe, and even dress her, it still feels like she's the one taking care of you. You close your eyes and almost feel Elsie stroking your hair. You're 11 years old again, kneeling next to her bed, crying your heart out. This is interesting so far. Suddenly the bell rings and you feel an invisible force trying to drag you into the present. Look at the window, keep your eyes closed. Let's look at the window. Those fucking kids. The first brat's followed by 2 more. They step on the hose and activate the bell for a second and third time. You don't know what comes over you, but you yell some things at them that you're too ashamed to remember. You justify yourself thinking that they might be the ones who got into your garage that night and stole some parts of the replica machine gun you're building. You won't let anyone mess with your project. The Williams team's steam machine gun is the jewel of your collection. The kids yell at you, old freak, and laugh, sheltered by their distance. Deep down you know that it can't be them. How would they know which parts of the machine gun were worth stealing? Anyway, that guard dog's being brought over in a few days and you'll be able to stop worrying. Let's check the hose. You think about what someone told you at the bar about replacing the hose with a thicker one so that it can only be activated by the weight of a car. And what happens if the kids jump with their bikes and land on top of the hose with one of their wheels, you asked. Kids are always going to find some way to bust your balls, they replied. Go back in. You try to calm down. You look at the shelves and think of the solitaire your grandma taught you. Your grandma always said that everyone has their place in the world, and that people keep dancing around it without ever reaching it. To win the solitaire, you have to stop dancing. You know the chances of winning are incredibly low, almost 0. You can't bring yourself to turn over the next card and decide to start sorting the shelves instead. Doing simple jobs builds up your self-confidence and provides you some illusion of control. Let's grab something from the lower shelf. Let's grab the box. Let's put it on the upper shelf. Can I swap it with the bottle? Put that on the lower shelf. Oh no, we can swap the can with the bottle. Put this in the middle shelf. Let's grab the bottle. Put the bottle on the bottom shelf. There we go. Organized. Good. One type of product on each shelf. Uh-oh. It's a customer. It's 3 customers. You scratch your head. This time sorting the shelves doesn't help. You feel the same urgency as before and you can't think of anything else. Is the card going to be black? You need to be black. Suddenly the air seems heavy and you find it a bit difficult to breathe. 3 men in black are staring at you. Through the window you see a black Cadillac by the pump. Yes? You wish you'd asked them how they got into the station without you hearing the door open, or how they left the car there without the bell ringing. But that trembling yes was the only thing you managed to utter. The moose. The moose? After a few seconds of not receiving any response, you decide to break the silence. Ask them directions to the moose. Ask them what's up with the moose. What's up with the moose? You brought a woman a whiskey. You don't know if it's the right move, but you try to relax and be more friendly. Do you know of a more effective way to socialize? You told her the dream about your grandma. A chill runs through your body. It's been a few weeks since that night, and even though you had a good time with Martha and have no regrets, something about the way these men in black ask questions make you uneasy. What do you mean? What do you want to know? I read that completely wrong. Granny in the forest. One of the men farther back lets out a crackling noise. You look at him, believing he's laughing, but the man in the black's expression doesn't change. Ask them why they want to know, or tell them about the dream. What do you want to know? No answers? It's like they're waiting for another response. So I have to tell them about the dream. Okay. My grandma's been bedridden for over 60 years, but in the dream I saw her running through the woods. Start from the beginning. And don't omit any details. You don't know if it's the way that they look at you or because of a certain authority in their voice, but you tell them everything about the dream. 5 or 6 weeks ago, you woke up in the middle of the night, certain that something had happened to your grandma. You ran up to her room, and Elsa wasn't in bed. The window was wide open. You ran to it and saw someone walking through the trees. It was her, and she was holding a rifle of the kind your ancestors would have carried in the Civil War. You tried to call out to her, but your grandma started running and shot 2 or 3 times into the blackness of the forest. You're about to go down and find her when a winged figure with glowing red eyes appeared in front of the window and screamed. You stumbled backwards, and after hitting your head on the bedpost, you lost consciousness. You woke up in your bed and remembered the dream almost instantly. You went up the stairs 2 at a time and opened the door to your room. Your grandmother slept peacefully. On the bedside table is a glass of milk you brought her every night, and the deck of cards she used to play solitaire. During the days that followed, you tried to convince yourself that it had all been a dream, even though you couldn't explain where the little stitches at the base of your skull had come from. After a few seconds, one of the men in black speaks again. The spots on her legs predate her birth, Holt. What? What is he talking about? Is he referring to the dozens of moles in your grandma's legs? And what do they mean by saying those spots predate her birth? Elsa's always making the same joke when you sponge her calves. Be thankful that you have to clean my legs and not your grandfather's. According to what she's told you, your grandfather had been shot dead by an experimental weapon early in the Civil War when his legs were ripped to shreds. Okay. The one in steam gun, son. A machine gun that doesn't appear in any book. You think about the replica you are putting together in the workshop, and you wonder if it was the men in the black who had stolen those pieces. You're not telling anyone about this visit, Holt. You start to complain when one of the men in black picks up the card from the counter, the top card of the deck. The crunch horrifies you. The teeth of the man in black seem to tear more than simply paper. That's weird. Desperately you throw yourself under the counter and look for the card. They're going to disappear. When your heart is pounding. Yep, you look out the window, you don't see the Cadillac. You walk to where the car was parked a few moments ago, you step on the hose, and the bell rings. What the fuck? It was a red card. Jack of Diamonds. Motherfucker is red. You think about the edge of one of the men in black tore off, and you heard the noise he made when he'd shoot it. Was it a threat? A warning? You wonder if you should tell your grandma everything that happened, or just keep your mouth shut. And keep playing solitaire with a marked card. Interesting. This is like very, this is the demo version of Mothman 1966. We're now going to skip a chapter and take you directly to chapter 2. After a tense journey, Victoria and her boyfriend Lee have just arrived at Holt's gas station. Lee has planned a special date for Victoria, watching the Leonid meteor shower together. So you do jump between different characters, which is interesting. I like the art style. The art style is really cool. Lee turns off the car and looks you in the eye. He smiles. and the smile seriously pisses you off. Smile back or tell him. I feel like I've just been dumped into the middle of an argument. I guess smile back? You try to return a smile, but you feel the hatred burning inside you. But it's not just Lee. The problem goes deeper. Why did you choose to smile? Why is it so hard to tell him? Wait here, Vic. I swear you won't believe it. You bite your lip and take a deep breath. You see him greet someone. Holt? Lee had written Holt Station on the map he'd thrown on your lap 20 minutes ago. He'd written it by hand, and it might as well have said Hort Station or Halt Station. Hell Station, even. Lee's handwriting has always been intriguing to you. You remember that time you mentioned it to him, and he responded with a disproportionate anger. Maybe he's a Mothman. A nonsense rant which involves several philosophers of language. And all because you told him his handwriting was dreadful. I mean, my handwriting's actually really bad, so I guess I can understand. I've never jumped to that much anger to it, but hey, I guess different strokes. But you know where those reactions come from. That night you two got drunk by the lake, Lee told you that his father would have wanted to be born ugly. After the initial surprise, you couldn't stifle a belly laugh, and Lee looked down. For a few minutes, he didn't want to tell you anything else. You finally convinced him to continue. I always got what I wanted just by smiling. Ugly people have to develop other muscles. Unfortunately, those other muscles are the ones that last. You couldn't believe those words had come out of the mouth of a flesh and blood human being. Maybe some poorly written character from a cheap romantic novel, but Lee's father? You picture Lee that night, throwing pebbles from the shore while telling you everything about his father's teachings. All that frustration. Was that the night you got pregnant? You'd both been drinking. Suddenly you find it difficult to breathe. The interior of the car feels like it's getting smaller and smaller. You need some air. Say hi or don't say anything. She seems like she'd wanted to say nothing. You close the door slowly. You know what Lee is like with his new car, and breathe in the cool air. Victoria? Vic, this is Holt. Holt, Victoria. Hello. You respond to the greeting, but don't seem to care that much. Be right back, Vic. You see them walking away from the box they took out of the trunk, and from the effort Holt's putting in, it seems heavy. What's inside the box? You're not stupid. You know that Lee has some business on the side beyond his work as an intern at the university. You heard some rumors, and you have your suspicions. Maybe something Holt built his gun. However, you never did too much digging. You preferred to keep it a mystery. Something to make Lee a little more interesting. You light a cigarette. Aren't you pregnant? Would Lee be a good father? And the question that you still haven't had the courage to ask, would you be a good mother? The click's repeating at a regular interval. Small moths approaching the light to get electrocuted. Is that love, Victoria? You laugh and shake your head from side to side. You think of all the manuscripts you've torn up. You tried poetry, drawing. History seemed like an obvious choice. You don't need any talent to be a historian. I mean, you need to put the effort in, I guess. Hello? The man talks to himself while holding something in his hand. Have you seen any winged creatures flying over the area yet? What do you mean, yet? For a moment, you think he's asking some kind of trick question, so you remain silent. However, something about him tells you that he's genuinely asking. You look at the man bathed in the shrine of the streetlight, and the scene fascinates you. Surreal. Some of your old friends would have said, the ones that organize poetry nights and read... not even gonna try to pronounce that. Le Tremont? Excuse me, you are? Oh yes, sorry. Hill. Louis Hill. The writer. What was that smile? Victoria Greenberry, history student. Winged creatures, Mr. Hill? Lou, please. Can I call you Victoria? You nod. I'm looking into about a dozen reports, Victoria. Numerous witnesses claim to have seen human-sized winged creatures flying over the area. Angels? Lou smiles, but the smile doesn't last long on his face. Look here, at the top of the trees. It won't take you long to find one. You aim at the area Lou told you to. Everything's blurry. You decide to adjust the binoculars. Adjust the focusing wheel? Sure. Let's say move left. Move left again. No, move right. So I think it's gotta keep going left then. I feel like it's just getting fuzzier. So like, let's leave it that. Adjust this. On the right, you notice the change in your left eye. Okay. Wait, what? I feel like I'm lost. So how do I change the one in the right side? Because now I see the Mothman. So maybe I gotta go back here. I'm gonna say this. This looks pretty close to, like, if I adjust it, it should make both the same. Just the focusing wheel? No, so right. There we go. What the? It was just a second, but you think you saw something up there. Was it suggestion? I don't think they're angels, Victoria. Before I tell you my theory, I need your help. Could you draw in the notebook what you just saw? Yes. At any other time, you'd have refused with some witty comment, but there's something about Lou Hill that invites you to play along. You wonder if the fact that he presented himself as a writer had something to do with it. Draw the head, body, or legs. Let's do the body. Human chest with huge wings? Wide chest with short wings and arms? No. That's not what it looked like. I'm not sure. Let's see. No, not that. Yes, definitely that. No, it did not look like that. Yes, I would say this looks pretty close. Before giving it back, you write some notes further describing what you saw. Lou hadn't asked for them, but somehow they make you feel less anxious. You never felt confident about your work. Lou looks at the notebook and for a few seconds and feels long. You think about the time you showed your sketches to your art teacher and how he embarrassed you in front of the rest of the class. Motherfucker. What? Sorry. I was talking to myself. You can't help but blush. Victoria? For once, you're glad to hear Lee's voice. All good? Although it seems to be talking to you, Lee keeps staring at Lou. Lou Hill, writer. Lou holds out his hand. Lee Miller, historian. Lee walks over and puts out his arm around you, his back to Lou. You know he must have been annoyed that Lou introduced himself as a writer. Although it's hard for you to admit you like to be hugged. You feel safe. You think you would also feel safe in your grandmother's arms, or in the arms of any other strong woman in your family. Grandma's seems to be like a constant point here. Or a reoccurring point. But the heat of Lee's body, the hardiness of his muscles. You remember all those biologist arguments you hate so much and you can't help but smile. It's like you're cheating when nobody's looking. Come on, Vic. Let's see the surprise. Close your eyes. Sure. Close your eyes and let Lee guide you. Now open them. What's he showing me? Oh, it's a picnic. What the dog doing? A romantic dinner for two under the same meteor shower that amazed our ancestors. You simply put your hand to your belly, and when you realize it, you quickly put it in your pocket. So I don't think he knows that she's pregnant yet. You look at the dog tied to the post. The dog growls into the dark. Geez, look at that dog. He looks a lot cuter from far away. You reached the end of the demo. Thanks for playing. Stay tuned for the full release on July 14th. This game's actually already out. I was just trying the demo to see how it was, and I kind of like it. Really cool. They have like 2 other games. One that's currently also out, and I think it's a demo, and another one that's coming out soon. I really love the aesthetic style for this, the music. The story seems really interesting. I'm really curious as to where it's gonna go. I don't know. I really enjoy this. Like, this might be one of those I might check out offline or see, but it seems pretty good. Like, really interesting story-wise. like, I don't know. I think the art style is the main thing that's drawing me. Like, the story seems interesting, but I don't know what's going on yet. But the art style, I have to say, is like 100% really solid. But thanks for checking me out. If you liked it, please subscribe and check out for more. See ya.